It's a pleasure to have you join us on the program Nimasa this week. My name is Cordelia Obe. I'll be taking you down a very safe and secure ocean. Stay with me. On the program today, I'll be sharing with you what Nimasa officials are doing concerning flag state inspection of barges and tugboats. There was a session with the top echelon of the Nigerian police, the Nigerian Navy, and the Nigerian media recently by the agency. We'll also share those with you. June is a very busy period. Normally, there should be a huge celebration to, take note of the things the seafarers have been doing as we have the Seafarers Day. Would that be different this year? Of course, but we'll tell you something about them because we must always celebrate the seafarers. And then, the continuation of the interview we had with the DG Nimasa, Dr. Bashir Jamo. It's a full program, and I'd like you to please sit back, relax, and enjoy the cruise. Welcome.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for our maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
We are not disrupting your work. We just want to check the boats to be sure that they are fully registered and maintained as per required standards. So we are just going there.
Now, when we talk about flag state inspection, we're talking about how those in charge of such a thing are taking a look at vessels to make sure they're maintaining the right standards as per the country's flag they are bearing, especially their own country's flag. And that is exactly what is happening there with the head of maritime safety at Nimasa, Captain Sunday Umoren, leading officials from Nimasa to carry out flag state inspections of tugboats and barges.
What's the name of your boat?
It was codenamed Operation Stingray. The enforcement team had officers from the agency, military personnel from the Maritime Guard Command, made up of the Navy, police, and the civil defense. The team boarded one tug after another. Their mission was clear: to find out if the tugboat or barge are properly registered, ensure all tugboats and barges operating in our waterways are fully certified, and have all documents intact and up to date in accordance with the Nimasa Act.
Oh, that's good. This ones, they have documents.
A barge is a flat-bottomed boat for carrying freight on canals and rivers, either under its own power or towed by a tugboat. A tugboat is a type of vessel that maneuvers other vessels by pushing or pulling them, either by direct contact or by means of a tow line. The exercise saw the team board 3 tugboats. After the entire exercise, the Nimasa team leader had this to say.
The operation is aimed at ensuring that no unseaworthy barges or tugboats or non-conventional vessels is trading within Nigerian waterways. One of the core mandates of the agency is to ensure the safety of operations within our maritime domain. Our plan is to have this done quarterly at the zones. We're starting in Lagos, we'll move to all the other zones to at least have that push to ensure that yes, this sector, which are the common vessels we have within our waterways, are quite operated and manned in a safe manner.
The importance of collaboration between all maritime sectors has been thrown into the spotlight during the COVID-19 pandemic and will be needed more than ever in the recovery phase. International Maritime Organization IMO Secretary General Kitak Lim told a webinar on ship-shore relations. Mr. Lim highlighted ongoing challenges, including the need for crew changeovers for some 150,000 seafarers who need to leave their ships. Meanwhile, the IMO is also seeking enhanced regional maritime security cooperation amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. IMO is continuing to support work on information sharing to boost maritime security in the West Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Aden. A virtual meeting of the Steering Committee of the Revised Code of Conduct concerning the repression of piracy, armed robbery against ships, and illicit maritime activity in the Western Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Aden area took place this month to discuss ways of continuing to enhance regional maritime security efforts amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. And finally, we come to the Gulf of Guinea, where the IMO Secretary General Kitak Lim has welcomed the latest initiatives to address the serious issue of piracy and armed robbery in the Gulf of Guinea, including a joint meeting between the government of Nigeria and representatives from organizations representing the oil and shipping industries. In a statement on the IMO website, Secretary General Lim said he commended the collaborative efforts to address piracy and armed robbery, which send a strong and valuable message to the international community with respect to the considerable efforts Nigeria is making to curb piracy and armed robbery against ships in the Gulf of Guinea. Secretary General Lim recently met Dr. Bashir Yusuf Jamo, Director General, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, in a virtual meeting. He said, "I would also like to commend the leadership of Dr. Jamo and the proactive measures." Mr. Lim said he looks forward to working with Nimasa. Nimasa, the Nigerian Navy, the oil industry represented by OCIMF, and the shipping industry represented by ICS, BIMCO, Intercargo, Intertanko, and the Nigerian Ship Owners Association held their first meeting to discuss the current situation and how to tackle the piracy problem in the eastern Gulf of Guinea.
Last week, we started the interesting session we had with the DG CEO of Nimasa, where he shared with us the 3 S's, or like a tripod. We're talking security, safety, and ship development. He shed light on these particular 3 S's, and we still have a lot to talk about. So, we'll be continuing from where we stopped last week with the DG Nimasa. We've talked a lot about the financing part of it. Let's go back to safety and security. And you're very, very keen on ensuring that our waterways are safe. And so when you talk about things like the GMDSS, that is the Global Maritime Distress and Safety System, that one makes us understand that Nigeria has a huge role to play in ensuring safety. How would you want to bring this, the GMDSS, into the whole plan for safety and security that you have?
Safety and security work hand in hand, but the issue of security is more dynamic, and more higher in the context of the practicability of the application.
Because security leads to safety.
Yes, where there is no safety, the security also sometimes means meaningless. Let me start with security. The issue of maritime security is the international issue. It's an international issue. The issue of piracy, armed banditry, the issue of arms smuggling, drug trafficking, human trafficking, all these parts form part of the maritime security, because there are little dimensions now, changes from the aviation industry that they have been using to do these transactions in terms of drugs, in terms of human trafficking and other things. They are now using the ship to do all this and shipping as well. So it becomes an international thing. We used to experience challenges of maritime security. In those days, we used to hear this from the Malacca to Indian Oceans to, Somalia of recent. They were very notorious. And today, as far as the world is concerned, the Gulf of Guinea, which Nigeria is a major player there, is the most dangerous area where you can trade. So the issue of security there becomes very, very serious. So the international community entertaining a lot of fears. There are times that we receive so many threats that international ships will stop coming to Nigeria because of those international ships. And then because of that maritime security, the Nigerian trade suffered a lot of setback. The shipping also industry suffered a lot of setbacks to the extent that ships will come with cargo belonging to Nigeria. They are waiting at Cotonou to discharge, or Togo, they will go and discharge. Similarly, in terms of export, people prepare to carry their export cargo from Nigeria and go to neighboring countries, Togo, Benin Republic, and do their own export and get the ship there and go, leaving our own younger generations without work, leaving our port without revenue, leaving our customs without revenue. So it robs us a lot of things. Now, above all these things, the integrity of the Nigerian nation also become an issue, because the international community look at us as somehow not serious, thinking that it's deliberate attempt, probably with the knowledge with government actors that this thing is happening. So with the coming of His Excellency Rotimi Amechi, he now introduced what we call Deep Blue Project. And this Deep Blue Project is the one that now is providing the platforms that we are going to use. Under this arrangement, we have 2 special mission vessels, which are very big. We have 17 interceptor vessels. Now, the 2 special mission vessels, we received them in Nigeria, they're in Nigeria. Then the 17 interceptor vessels, we received 15, only 2 remain. Then we have what we call C4I. The C4I Center is the satellite that takes the entire gamut of our own territorial waters.
That will handle a lot of communications.
That will handle a lot of communications and take images that will now transmit to the various operators that can now respond to a lot of challenges. And this C4I has been working for about over a year now. So it's working about 24/7 in a day. And then apart from that, we have special mission aircrafts. Special mission aircrafts, we expect this special mission aircraft to arrive in Nigeria in August this year. Now, we have special mission helicopters, 3. This we have 2, the special mission aircraft we have 2, then the special mission helicopters we have 3. That we expect it to come to Nigeria in January 2021, that's next year, maybe about 7 months from now. Then we have also special armored cars. So you can see now from sea to air, from air to communication, from communications to road, where we have these armored cars. Then we have helicopters also, where they can have access to where there is no strip to land. So this is a very unique arrangement whereby the international community, they are very, very keen and interested to see the workability. As I mentioned, from what I mentioned, you can now realize that more than 80% of this particular project has been completed. And we paid huge amount of money. The Nigerian government paid for this particular project. So it's not a failed project again. It's a reality project. What remains now is the human elements. That is the local content. We have to train officers to man these particular platforms. And these officers, they are still waiting because of the COVID-19. They cannot travel. Some of them, they will have to take their training in Netherlands, some in Germany, some in United States. They are here in Nigeria. Some of them, they are with Air Force, some with some of them with Nigerian Navy. So they are just waiting for the international community to open the aviation industry so that they can go for the streaming. Then we start utilizations of these platforms.
GMDSS, that is something that I'm sure a lot of people would like to know something about. In case you do not know, the GMDSS is the Global Maritime Distress and Safety System. Tell us a bit about this.
Well, the GMDSS, as you mentioned, Cordelia, Global Maritime Distress Safety System, is an approved mode of communications for vessels in distress. And from time to time, whenever vessels in a difficult situation, either through a kind of navigational areas, attack, accident, fire, or any other things, they will have to get the maritime administration concerned. Nigeria, I'm happy to announce to you that we take care of 9 countries. We are the Regional Maritime Coordinating Center. So whatever that concerns issues of maritime safety in terms of probably search and rescue, if you have an accident or vessel caught fire, so with press of button, you can be able to link up with maritime administration through the GMDS system. Now, in Nigeria, we have 4 areas, stations that takes care of the Nigerian territorial water. The first one is the Regional Coordinating Center that we have in our resource center, Krikri. This is a project and a very huge project and investment. We are on with this project for quite a number of years now, but we are at the tail end of finishing it. As I'm talking to you, we completed the Regional Maritime Center. It's up and doing. As we are talking now, it's working. Then the second one has to do with Takwa Bay. Takwa Bay will also warehouse a lot of our equipment there. We finish everything in terms of facilities. So all that remains now is for us to program the facilities and the equipment. Where because of this COVID-19, the UK company that provides the equipment, they need to come and program it, and they couldn't make it because of the closure of the international aviation industry. So as soon as they open the aviation industry, we will have our own Takwa Bay GMDSS center working. The 2 other ones are in Oron, that is Akwa Ibom State. That of Oron, the construction is underway. We procured the equipment. It's in UK as I'm talking to you. We have some obligations to make to the contractor, which we settled, I think, about 3-4 weeks ago. So we expect these equipments into Nigeria as soon as the aviation industry embargo lifted. Then the first one is at Escravos and Boni. That one also is they are the same level with Oron. So that one also will come up. So now with this, we have absolute control of our own territorial waters in terms of search and rescue, not only our territorial water, also the MOU signed by the 9 countries and endorsing Nigeria as a search and rescue coordinating center. Cordelia, anytime from now, I will invite you to go and see this equipment and see the workability, how it works.
I love ships. I think they could be very, very pretty. This one, old, but it has come a long way to what we have nowadays. And on every ship, we have somebody working, doing this and doing that. For the past 10 years, the IMO has said, let's celebrate these people. They are called seafarers. These are the people who make the maritime world go round. They have a lot of challenges they are facing, and so that day, June 25 of every year, was set aside to celebrate those people who walk aboard ships that make the maritime world, as I said before, go round.
The theme for the 2020 Day of the Seafarer celebration is Seafarers are Key Workers. Seafarers are on the front line of the COVID-19 pandemic, playing an essential role in maintaining the flow of vital goods such as food, medicines, and medical supplies. However, the crisis has led to difficult working conditions for seafarers, including uncertainties and difficulties about port access, crew changeovers, and repatriation. This year, the Day of the Seafarer campaign calls on member states to recognize seafarers as key workers and to provide them with the support, assistance, and travel options open to all key workers during the pandemic. IMO Secretary General Kitak Lim has himself issued a personal message everywhere, assuring them that IMO understands the unique problems they face during the coronavirus pandemic and has been working tirelessly at all levels to find solutions for them. Secretary General Lim has also urged IMO member states and shipping companies to adopt a practical and pragmatic approach to issues like crew changeovers, resupply, repairs, survey, and certification and licensing of seafarers. The 2020 Day of the Seafarer campaign pays tribute to seafarers, acknowledging their sacrifice and the issues they face. Many seafarers have been away from home for months and are unsure when they will be able to return home due to travel restrictions. The campaign also seeks to raise awareness of the work achieved by seafarers in response to the pandemic and to thank them for their contribution. Everyone is invited to recognize that the ability of seafarers to deliver vital goods is central to responding to and eventually overcoming this pandemic. In Nigeria, the management of Nimasa has put plans in place to create awareness about the peculiar nature of seafarers in the country.
The Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Bashir Jamal, has continued with his consultations to enhance collaboration for better safety and security on Nigerian waters. Dr. Jamal led a team from the agency to meet with the Inspector General of the Nigerian Police, Mohammed Adamu, at the Louis Edet House. He also paid a working visit to the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas. Dr. Jamal noted that both organs of government are very important in the quest to bring sanity to the maritime environment in Nigeria, including the Gulf of Guinea. Dr. Jamal had recently announced that the police and the Navy have made some arrests of criminals in the Nigerian maritime domain. Now, media stakeholders also had a time to meet with the management of Nimasa, the executive management of Nimasa. This time, they're all working hand in hand to find out how objective news can come out from Nigeria as concerning the maritime sector.
The meeting took place in compliance with protocols set out by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC. The Nimasa DG, Dr. Bashir Jamal, led members of his executive management team to the interactive session. The Nimasa helmsman took time to inform the senior editors of the focus of his administration.
Within the last 100 days, we have been conducting research. How many shipbuilding companies we have, what does they manufacture, the type of vessels they manufacture, and then whether they are producing within the capacity they are. If they are not, why? So we are making a lot of interrogations on this. Similarly also with the ship repairs. So we're all looking at that. We are looking at the blue sea economy because when we talk about maritime industry, people's mind only goes into shipping. There are so many aspects of maritime that is beyond the issue of shipping, shipbuilding, fleet expansion, and ship repairs also.
The DG also noted that the task of developing a virile maritime industry for Nigeria is a collective one, and the media has a major role to play.
There is no other person that can change these narratives other than all of you here. What you publish in your paper go a long way, either negative or positive, in showcasing this country. I am not saying that an editor should not report what he believes and he is convinced that that's correct thing. But however, the nationality of our own country is in the pipeline.
On their parts, the Executive Director Operations Alhaji Shehu Ahmed and the Executive Director Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services Barrister Victor Oche also corroborated the DG's position that together we will succeed.
We are willing to support and drive the mission together with him. The conclusion that he made that you people will make difference is that speculative reporting can earn you money, but it cannot earn you reputation. We should be investigative reporting journalists. We should find out the true position of things before we go to press.
As strategic partners, you editors and the Fourth Estate of the Realm play a very important role. You can either make or mar the pen, but I always crave for the place of your conscience in doing this. Don't praise us when we've not done it, but when we have, please tell others. But when we're not doing it right, tell us, because we owe you a duty of responsibility to change and amend those things we're not doing right.
On his part, President's Guild of Editors in Nigeria, Mr. Mustafa Isa, had these words of encouragement for the Nimasa team.
So we are glad that he is addressing the issue of maritime insecurity in Nigeria, and I hope that the issue will continue the momentum so to enable us eliminate this dangerous things affecting our maritime sector. So we are happy that today he spoke with us and nailed out what is done and what he plans to do. So I hope that this continues in future.
Thank you so much for being a part of the program. Let's still remember, 25th of June, we'll be celebrating the seafarers. Watch out on this program. We'll be doing that with you. Don't forget you could be a part of this program by understanding or catching up with whatever you may have missed by following Nimasa on all her platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. They are all at Nimasa Official. You could also visit the Nimasa website to know more about the maritime sector and about the agency. Till I come your way again next time, do take care of yourselves and stay safe. Bye-bye.